gentlemen, I present to you America's top foundational health coach, Dr. Joe D.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Jody Bear, your America's top foundational health coach. That is what I was called so many years ago, kind of at a time when you're going to meet our guest here today. Yes, I am known as America's top foundational health coach, holistic nutritionist. And for 48 years, that's exactly what I've done. Brought health, healing, and hope in all 6 pillars, beginning with spiritual, then mental, emotional, social, and financial. Becomes it that mental mindset. Then you go to the emotional set. But we're going to be talking about, I left it out on purpose, the physical mindset. The physical mindset of true healing. As I've said for years and years and years, the body put in the right condition can and will heal itself. But how does it happen? It happens because treatments may or may not work, but regeneration always works. We're going to talk about regeneration today, and I'm so delighted to bring back to Life's Milkshake moment one of those people that had that time in my life over 20 years ago, 24 years ago, where we came into this time where I had to say, where time meets destiny. It collided in a positive fashion, and that's where we're back here today. I met Dr. Greg Carter when I was actually doing a marathon a month. Did I say a marathon a month? Yes, I was. And I had a situation, and you're going to hear about it, where time meets destiny. And I had the diagnosis of stage 4 melanoma. Gave 6 months to live, and I met Dr. Carter. Changed time, meet destiny, and we went on. We all have those times in our lives. And this is one of those times on this show tonight that you will not forget. 4, 3, 2, 5 is the date. 7 and 7. That is a perfect number. You put the 2 7s together today on April 3rd, guess what you've got? You've got the number 5, Chinese medicine, 5 flavors, 5 elements, 5 seasons, 5 detoxification modalities, and to get into the 5 of true change. Are you ready? Well, fasten your seatbelt, because as Les Brown says, it is necessary for you to do what only you can do. Just absolutely go at it like your life depends on it, because in actuality, it does. In my 4 decades of practice, when I was in the click and order, as I am now, I was in the brick and mortar business. I was privileged to have over 35,000 of my clients lose 1.1 million pounds of toxic fat loss. This modality that you're going to hear about today, molecular hydrogen, my great colleague and friend of mine, Dr. Mike Van Thielen, addressed it in his book. Now we're going to hear another take. Must be kind of a big deal if I believe in it. Yes, it is that modality that will make all the difference. You're going to hear the brilliance of Dr. Carter. You're going to hear his passion and his mission to fruition to really, was it molecular hydrogen and the mitochondria, the mighty mitochondria. Why is that so important? Because I only had a 5% recidivism rate and all the people that lost weight with me. Why? Because we got down into it foundationally with the 5s that I just mentioned. Why did it work? Because they worked. Nothing works unless you do. But when you believe that health isn't something you do, it's how and what you become along life's journey. Dr. Greg Carter is a living testament that he has become this health journey himself. I will truly say that in my last 5 years being unretired as my dear Bob Bear said, what are you going to do? How much yoga are you going to do yourself? Has been some of the most rewarding being in Click and Order, bringing this message to you, my Healthopedia 365 channel, my compadres, as you see, what is your life's milkshake moments? What will you hear today? I will say that you will hear amazingness. You will hear people that absolutely will live the same story. But when you see a practitioner, a healer that has taught others to live the story, and now he lives it too, that is something special. One of these modalities too, and of course, you know, one of our sponsors, Vibra 360. Yes, Dr. Joe D created and inspired in Vibra 360. Take a look, take a listen to the other M, not mitochondria, not molecular hydrogen right now. It is the mushroom coffee extraordinaire. Take a look, take a feel, take a listen to Vibra 360. Since we're just endorsing things that I believe in, it, as you know, Dr. Jody recommended, but also Dr. Jim Marinakis and Dr. Jody formulated Vibra 360. Go to my website, drjody.com. Get your health on, get your alkalinity on with your first cup of coffee. So now I can truthfully say it is a delight, it's a privilege and an honor to have someone who has meant so much to me in my personal life and in my professional life. Dr. Greg Carter serves as the director of functional and integrative medicine for the Florida division of Boston Neurological and Pain, bringing over 2 decades of extensive research in this integrative. Don't we need to integrate that medicine? We do, don't we? His focus is centered on health optimization, longevity, anti-aging medicine. I always say energy creates vitality, which transcends into longevity. I am living proof, and so is he. He's on a quest for these groundbreaking strategies. That's why we're here today with molecular hydrogen. He is the graduate of Florida College of Integrative Medicine. He integrates the medical practices with functional and naturopathic medical principles and is an active member of the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine since 2006. He is championing the molecular hydrogen, the H2 therapy, of which I love, particularly through inhalation as a powerful and revolutionary treatment. It's a modality that's unlike any other, and we're going to get into that today. Certainly, Dr. Carter firmly asserts that anti-aging should not be viewed as an unavoidable decline, rather than a reversible outcome of lifestyle choices and environment, that you can continue to thrive and be alive as long as you choose to. His mission to educate, inspire, and motivate. And you will be educated, motivated, and inspired with my absolute 2 decades colleague friend, the one and only Dr. G. Greg, welcome to Life's Milkshake Moment.
Well, Jody, thank you so much for your kind invitation. Obviously, I'm humbled and honored to be on your program and given the opportunity to discuss functional and integrative medicine in general, and the amazing benefits of molecular hydrogen specifically.
Absolutely. Because you are an expert. You're an expert in everything that you do and everything that you are. I've known that for, like I said, 24 years do you believe that we've known each other that long? Isn't that just amazing? That in and of itself.
Yeah, the time has flown, as the saying goes. And, for me, I feel like as the 21st century wears on, time seems to be accelerating. And I feel like forward thinkers like you You pack so much into your day that, you wake up and a year has passed, 3 years has passed, 5 years has passed. And in our case, it's been greater than 2 decades.
And did you ever think you and I, we would be here 71, and you don't have to tell. I will say without a doubt that longevity and what you've done for me, beginning at the very beginning, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being not only once, but many, many times my practitioner that's helped me along the way. Even being a practitioner, we need it too. So I would like you just to take a few more minutes, though, to tell about your background, your story, because it's a dandy.
Well, I come from, I'm Asian. Everybody in my family is in medicine or the Navy, right? And
2 militaries, 2 M's.
Right. So I didn't like the Navy's uniform, so I joined the Marine Corps because I'm rebellious. And when I got out of the Marines, I was very physically active, and I had joined a judo class at the school I was going to, University of South Florida. And one of the teenagers there, he flipped me, and I was in my mid-20s, and I hurt my back. Shocking, right? So I go to my mother.
You're going to be shocking. You would have hurt your back.
I go to my mother, who's a board-certified internist, and I'm glad you're sitting down. She gave me 2 Motrin, and I thought, well, I don't think this is going to do anything. Shockingly, it didn't. And I told her that. So she sent me to my uncle, who is a board-certified orthopedic surgeon. So my mother, board-certified internal medicine. My uncle, board-certified orthopedic surgeon. Guy was at my baptism, known me my whole life. Looks me in the eye and says, well, you've really screwed your back up. And, you're lucky that you know me. You definitely need surgery. We need to fuse these discs, and I'll do it. And I won't charge you anything. And in his mind, he was just doing me the greatest favor. Yes. And I was 25 years old, and I said, well, you know what? I'm going to thank you. I'm going to take that under advisement. And I just drove around aimlessly for like 3 or 4 hours thinking, God, my life's over. I'm only 25. And I had seen this chiropractor office 4 doors down from our internal medicine office. I didn't know anything about chiropractors except they were Satan, right? According to all chiropractors in my family. And so I sneak into this chiropractor's office in a tremendous amount of pain and agony. Probably I'd been living with it for like 6 weeks. I probably looked like a drug seeker, like a disheveled, homeless drug seeker. And I go in there and I go, hey, my name's Greg. The medical office 3 doors down, that's my family. Anybody knows that I'm here, there's going to be all kinds of hell to pay. Can you take me in the back? And the lady looks at me with kindness and she says, please hold. And she goes and gets the chiropractor, who was this gigantic man, Dr. Philip Chapman. He comes out and he says, can I help you, son? And I told him the story. And he goes, well, come on back. I didn't fill out informed consent. I didn't fill out any paperwork. Didn't give my license.
Come back. Just come back.
This is the 90s, right? So he sits me down. He goes, so what's the problem? I tell him. And I said, I don't know anything about you guys. I just heard really bad stuff. And I hear you do something with backs. Is that true? And the guy chuckles and he goes, yeah, come on, let me take a look at you. He puts me on a table, no x-ray, no paperwork, nothing. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I've made a mistake, because even I knew the standard of care. And I was conceptualizing, how can I talk?
You knew the standard of care because you've lived with it your whole life.
I lived with it. And as I was trying to come up with a lie to get out of there because I was terrified, he was touching my back and he put his finger right on the epicenter of my pain in my mid-thoracic. And he goes, well, I think your problem's right here. He touched it with his finger right on it. And he goes, am I right? I go, yes. Can you do something? And he goes, I don't know. Everybody wants to be a hero, Greg. I'll do my best, okay? He gave me my first adjustment. And it's terrifying the first time you get it. And I wiggled my fingers and toes to make sure I wasn't paralyzed. And he goes, well, get up. And I stood up and he goes, so look, we're just going to stop there. In about 3 days, you should feel better. I said, I feel better now. What the hell did you do? Are you a doctor? again, idiot, right?
Yeah.
And he laughed at me again. And it's fascinating. He had this side-by-side comparison of chiropractic provider school and allopathic provider school, regular doctor school. And they were the same right up until the pharmacology part. And I said, wow, I'm in pre-med. I think I should do this instead. And I go back and I call a meeting with my family. And my Uncle Dan showed up, the orthopedist, my mom, a bunch of nurses, other doctors, urologists. And I said, I want everybody to note that I'm walking like Homo erectus and not like Neanderthal man. And my Uncle Dan goes, yeah, what'd you do? I said, I went to a chiropractor. You would have thought in that room that I said I joined the Church of Satan.
Yes.
Everyone told me that I was insane. My Uncle Dan told me I'm like I wasn't paralyzed. And I let them talk for a few minutes and I said, you're all wrong. Every one of you are board certified providers related to me. And in the authenticity and sincerity of your beliefs, Uncle Dan, you told me you had to slice my back open and fuse my disc. Mom, you gave me Motrin. This guy fixed me in 30 seconds. 30 seconds. And I said, there's something else out there. I'm not saying I don't believe in allopathic medicine. I'm saying I do no longer believe that it's the only answer. And that is what started my journey on complementary alternative medicine, which eventually morphed into functional and integrative medicine.
And acupuncture and all of this. And I'm thinking, Greg, all of that. And I think that it's really great that you were the conduit to educate your family, and you were the conduit. And it was far, I would sidestep and said, this is far more than you joining the Marines. I mean, that took courage, and And I believe so much in spiritual, mental, those 6 pillars of traditional Chinese medicine. And I think about how we met each other. And I remembered this like it was yesterday, when time meets destiny. That whole thing for me was this. I was, something bad happens, just like you said. Think about it. Something bad happened. You got flipped and your back went out. I got hit by lightning. Remember? I got struck by lightning. I came through. I was doing a marathon a month down in Celebration, Florida. All of a sudden, I was getting a little dizzy. I'd been struck by lightning. Now, how many patients ever came into your office, said, I guess I need to see you. I was struck by lightning. Was I the only one?
You so far, yeah, in over 20 years, you're the only lightning strike I've ever accommodated.
Yeah, but I was meant to meet you, because little did I know. And this woman that was training as a personal trainer, never saw her again. Don't remember her name. She said, you need to meet Dr. Greg Carter. That's when time meets destiny. And ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to give you a little bit of this background until we get into the real nuts and bolts, because Greg, not only are you amazing, you're brilliant, handsome, and all of the above, but the passion and purpose that you've had in your life, because I got the diagnosis, as Les Brown says, was not my prognosis, stage 4 melanoma. And you very calmly said, kind of like, well, yes, I'd love to be a miracle worker, just like that chiropractor did. And what did you say to me? I think I can help. Well, I'm here to say, because of your preciseness, what you did with your integrative medical just vision, and how you brought, and here, Dr. Mike Van Thielen was training with you as an intern. And here I got 2 for the price of 1. And here I am today. And I've never been able to say this on my podcast with all sincerity, love, honor, and appreciation, that it's not you being the healer, but it's the divine mechanism that came down through you, that this is why I'm here today. So thank you.
Well, thank you for your kind words, Jody. I mean, I think that all providers are just conduits of information, we're just conduits of what we've learned. And we're clearinghouses of the philosophies and techniques and procedures that we've grown to resonate with. And, I've been lucky here and there.
And more than luck, that is when labor under correct knowledge, and you had it, met me. So I think more than anything else, I would love for you to just take a moment, because that was a pretty serious little segment for sure. But you really, your knowledge, care, and compassion are the reason that I'm here. So shed your humor about your, for lack of a better word, then I had an even different last name. And you said, I was one of the patients who, what do you remember about this wonderful humor about, Jody Bear or Jody Nylander at that point? We have this, this, and this. Give us some of your whys before we take this commercial break. And we're going to go into something very special that will mean a lot to you too. But what is your remembrance on how you would introduce me when we were be on these platforms as your star patient? Think about that car accident. Think about the melanoma. Think about that whole thing with the lightning strike. Yeah.
Well, I can't remember the exact words that I said, but I do remember thinking that just for the record, Jody was my first patient as a doctor. I inherited her from another provider. She was my first official patient. And I remember lamenting to one of the other doctors there, I have never seen a single person attract so much physical catastrophe. Yes. Literally year after year. It was not something small. It was cancer, and then there was another internal medicine thing, and then you rolled your car like 17 times, would have killed Clark Kent. Somehow you came out of it, and I remember one of the other guys saying to me, I should refer you out, and I did make some appropriate referrals, but I said, look, the hubris of youth, I could fix her. I can do it, with my 13 minutes of experience, but like I said, we were in the right place at the right time. We were exposed to really incredible techniques and procedures, and some really cutting edge stuff. And I think being in Orlando helped out. And, Orlando in that era was one of the first places to institute the combination of medical and naturopathic strategies in an integrative paradigm. And we had one of the first facilities where we incorporated medical oversight of complementary alternative medicine, naturopathic, and functional medicine strategies. We did that because a lot of the stuff in that era was untested. It was just untested. The studies are there, the evidence was there, the algorithms were there, but who knew? No, nobody knew. And I said, it'll work.
Yes, the creator of all worth. And the one thing I should have pulled up, but you know what? We're going to put that as a splice at the end of this program, and you're going to see it as a short. I found the video that you made when I walked in to your office, and I was pretty broken up after the car wreck and all of this. And then what I looked like 20 days later doing the detoxification and everything else. And let me tell you something, you can use me as a poster child, anyone. I'm going to tell everyone, because I do it all the time, I'm 71. Just remember, you can have so much fun at 71. And Greg, I will tell you what we're going into this segue with this commercial break is something that will be very near and dear to you as well, as we know. And we'll be bringing this up as our next part of our program is talking about cutting edge, talking about what Dr. Greg is doing way more between mitochondria, not just getting that PQQ into and penetrating the mitochondria, but rebuilding it. But I can tell you that more than anything, I am so grateful to say that my big bear, who, yes, he went on and transitioned into heaven already, but this last 2 months, knowing that he's become an ambassador of peace, and whether I just came back from the UN a second time, the foundation has been written up in the New York Times, and we've kicked it off in great fashion. So I want to one more time do the elongated version. I just wanted to do the experiencing the life of Robert H. Bear until we make it a commercial break. Now, as we're raising these funds to make this scholarship fund, of which I'm going to be bringing up this beautiful QR code here. Scan that. It will go to roberthbear.com. It will go into the fund for the UN for that little Bobby and Barbara Bear who has a passion for the past, being in the present and enlightening us in the present then, but they're going ahead and taking it to empower the future. That's what Bob Bear did his whole life. That's what we are doing now with the Robert H. Bear UN-sponsored Memorial Scholarship Fund. Let's just take a look at the life and times of Robert H. Bear.
Step into one part of the life and times of Dr. Robert H. Bear, PhD, RPA. Military hero and decorated Vietnam veteran. Oxford-educated professor, acclaimed as the 8th professional archaeologist in Oxford University history. Preservationist and activist, creation of Miami Circle, a national historical register for the Seminole Indian tribe. U.S. diplomat in Panama with Manuel Noriega and Anastasio Somoza. In Nicaragua, Operation Just Cause. Envoy for the Department of Defense, Afghanistan and Pakistan. Anthropologist in acculturation for over 1,500 Afghani and Pakistani warring tribes through peaceful psychological methods. Dr. Robert H. Bear's extraordinary life stands as a testament to dedication, courage, and an unwavering commitment to making the world a better place. From military hero to Oxford professor, preservationist to diplomat, his legacy continues to inspire those who seek to bridge cultures and protect history.
Yes, bigger than life, and he was in life. And why this is so important for me, Dr. Greg and Dr. G, as we would say, to go ahead and bring this in, because I will say without a doubt that you were instrumental with this molecular hydrogen in giving my husband post-stroke an amazing 2 months of life. And we're not going to get into the allopathic situation. I have done that on an activist plane, and it is what it is. But what we know is that quality of life can be found at any stage. And just as I'm saying that next week, when we hit the 10th of April, and this is pretty fun, that who knew that Dr. Robert H. Bear would actually be living me back with 5 books that are completed, and his next book, As Good as the Rest, will be coming out on Amazon. Stay tuned for that. So go ahead, scan this code, be a part of this foundation, be a part of something that is always bigger than us. And Greg, you are a part of that thing, which is bigger than us right now with molecular hydrogen. So let's go into this and say, how did you get attached to HydroHeal? Just like I called you in to my life, for real. I know that it was just like that law of attraction. It happened again with you and Mick Armani and this whole HydroHeal team. How did that happen?
Well, you get what you look for.
Yes.
I've been a member of the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine since 2006. Mostly, Jody, because I think aging is a mistake, and I am trying not to participate. Me
neither.
I think that the vast majority of Americans have been hypnotized into believing that age, as they conceptualize it, which means the death, destruction, and devastation of your human form, is a foregone conclusion, and that it's ludicrous to think that alterations in your diet or lifestyle are going to make any kind of statistically significant impact. And yet these same exact people have no issues believing that smoking, drinking, and leading negative lifestyle decisions can age you faster. So they easily believe you can accelerate aging, and they almost universally express with disbelief and in many cases disdain
Yes.
to suggest that you could slow, stop, or reverse biological age. Now, obviously, we're not gonna. It's not a time machine, right? We're not taking away candles on our birthday cake. But there's a physician at A4M. He's well published. He's the leader of peptide therapy right now, Dr. William Seeds. He hates the term anti-aging, which is shocking because he's one of the premier anti-aging doctors. But what his thesis is that what if utilizing functional medicine like molecular hydrogen, you don't get one more day of life. You don't get one more day of life. But each day of life that you have, you get more out of that day. Meaning your performance is enhanced, your quality of life is enhanced, your experience in life is enhanced.
Yes. And it's just the word.
I'm okay that, I'm going to be 60 on my next birthday. And, I feel like my 60-year-old experience is dramatically different than that of my peers. I mean, it's just dramatically different. And I would add to that I am not a monk. I do not lead a monastic lifestyle. Taco Bell has darkened the doorway of my taste buds. Okay. I'm a normal guy. I like red meat. I like bourbon. I like cigars. I'm a man. I'm an American red-blooded man. And if you had asked me 2 years ago, if you could only pick one thing in longevity or anti-aging medicine, what would it be? I would have said testosterone.
Yes.
Testosterone, But when I stumbled, I'm going to use a misnomer accidentally on molecular hydrogen, and I discovered what it actually is, I would pick molecular hydrogen. Yes. And, what's fascinating about it is that the guy in our practice that discovered it is not a provider. He's the business end of it. And he brought it to me, and I viewed it with some trepidation the first day. I thought, this sounds silly. What, hydrogen's everywhere? Well, what's that going to do?
Right.
But then I looked at the studies, and there's over 2,700 clinical studies. And, it has to do with the Krebs cycle and energy generation in the body. And who looked at the Krebs cycle since 7th grade? Nobody. No one. And like they glazed over that thing. And the importance of ATP production, the energy currency of the body, as if it's just another thing that you've got to memorize and flush for the test, which is exactly how I treated it. And what's so funny?
Didn't we all?
Yes, because we're looking under all these rocks for something that's going to slow, stop, and reverse age, and we're looking in all these novel areas. What multicolored frog on the Amazon, sweat is going to be the thing that does it. And meanwhile,
The sweat on the frog or the frog in the sweat? Because we've been both.
And meanwhile, the most abundant molecule in the known universe is practically one of, if not the single most important keys to slowing, stopping, and reversing aging because of its multifaceted effects on the body and its predominantly primary effect on mitochondria, which are the machines or the factories that create the energy of our life, called adenosine triphosphate or ATP. And when you stop and think about it, you think to yourself, well, what's the fuel of people, right? It's sugar and fat.
Yes.
That's the fuel, right? Okay. Well, what's the fuel of the machines making our fuel?
The fuel is hydrogen. Yes.
It's hydrogen. It's not sugar and fat. I've asked 100 people more in medicine, what's the fuel? What's the fuel of the things making our fuel?
No one knows.
Nobody remembers because we looked at it in 7th grade, and then you come to find out, it's protons, which is just a synonym for molecular hydrogen. And when you that first realization that the supercharged fuel for the human organisms, machines to create supercharged fuel is molecular hydrogen, if that doesn't inspire you to look deeper and see, well, exactly how can I affect these mitochondria in such a way that I repair them, I restore them, and I optimize them. I'm 60, right? I smoke cigars, drink alcohol. I hang out with my friends too late at night, and I probably have about 30% of my mitochondria I had when I was in my 20s, and a lot of them are broken, right? Well, what if all molecular hydrogen did was repair, restore, and optimize the 30% of the mitochondria that I have left? Would that be helpful? Yes, right?
Of course it would. And see,
yeah.
Go ahead.
But that's not all it does.
No.
Because
so let's just start on that part of this thing. If it repaired, if it was the thing that, just as I said, knowing that my big bear had an asymptomatic stroke, no symptoms whatsoever, not one, was doing 6 miles with me on the outside of Mission Inn when the stroke happened. And I had researched, Greg, HydroHeal. I had researched, and that's what I call it, because this is the brand. And I've just put it on the bottom of the ticker, and why it is a premium brand. I saw the cheap, and I saw the not so good, and I saw everything between. I had done my research because I knew that Bob and I were aging, being 83 and 70. But I know that it restored his mitochondria. It repaired that brain, having an ischemic stroke. He had a fissure. Would you agree? Like an earthquake. And it brought it together. Greg, it was this is time meets destiny. I knew that Dr. Mike had something to do with it. I called him. He said, I think we have a machine. But the next thing you knew, no, you're showing up. I had lost track of you, unfortunately. And there you are, just being deposited in my life again. The good news of this, we can't decide our birth and our death date. What happened, happened. But with Bob, with my husband, what happened with this machine, people lose their short-term memory with stroke. Yeah. Within 3 days, Dr. Carter, he was back reading the newspaper. His eyes were restored. And 4 days before he passed, when the hospital did that thing, which they shouldn't have done that thing against my will, and I will always say that. And he contracted double pneumonia from aspiration before he took this book. Greg, this is 83 years old, and he rattled off every single author by memory. Could you see Dr. Bob Bear saying, okay, give me a grade. How'd I do? I only remembered 39 authors. Who'd I forget? Do you know what I told him, Greg? I said, he forgot his wife. Now, if that to me was a testimony that the body can and will heal and restore itself. But pick up about this mitochondria, not penetrating, but restoring.
Well, first of all, I saw Bob immediately afterwards, and then it was dire straits, and saw him a week, 10 days after he had started using molecular hydrogen.
5 days.
And he was cracking jokes, making fun of me. It was great. It was just shocking, quite frankly, to see.
Yeah.
So, one of the problems with antioxidants is that they cannot pass the blood-brain barrier. And no matter how good the antioxidant is, if your problem's in your brain, it's not getting there, right? But molecular hydrogen, because of its size and its non-polarity, can slip right in through the tympanic membrane and go right into the brain and start to enhance mitochondrial function so that the nerves can start to rebuild, restore, and regenerate themselves rather quickly. And we saw that with Bob. We saw his brain functionality return at light speed, in my opinion.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I would say that the introduction of molecular hydrogen and the repair, restoration, and optimization of mitochondria is what allows cells in general and neurological cells specifically to repair. I mean, we were told in the dark ages of the 20th century, when my search engine was the Yellow Pages, that once neurological tissue was damaged, it couldn't be restored.
You were done.
Yeah, we decode the human genome in 1998. We find out, well, that's wrong. And, but what do we got? Nothing, right? What do we have to repair neurology? I mean, nothing. But this molecular hydrogen swoops in, paratroops into the brain, and starts to repair everything and restore functionality. And that I found was the most amazing thing. And so whether or not the repair is needed in the cardiovascular system, the autoimmune system, the neurological system, or the body is fighting off something horrid like cancer.
Yes.
I'm not sure if we're allowed to say that. Some kind of oncogenic activity. There are studies.
Good choice.
There are studies that show molecular hydrogen can slow the progression of these states. Now, in neurology specifically, there are studies that clearly indicate molecular hydrogen can slow, stop, and reverse degradation of the substantia nigra, which is the structure in the brain that's destroyed during Parkinson's disease. It can reverse L-dopa-induced dyskinesia. I mean, what can do that? I mean, this is the most abundant molecule in the known universe. It's everywhere, but it's nowhere. We're like Prometheus. We can reach down, but we can't reach the fluid. We can reach up, but we can't grasp the fruit.
Oh, it might be there. So knowing, and for those of you that have just joined our broadcast, we're with the infamous, the famous, my friend, my colleague, Dr. G of HydroHeal. We're talking about HydroHeal. We're talking about this amazing company, this amazing device, as I've said on numerous occasions, that was the particular modality that gave my husband some quality of life post-stroke. And I can say more than anything else, I'm grateful. I am so humbled to say for myself with this machine that during this arduous time, I brought the machine back home with me, back to the hotel room. And once I had the unfortunate title now of widow, Greg, I'm not sleeping with anybody else. I'm sleeping with the machine. Why not? Because you can't overdose on this. I'm putting the cannula, I'm getting it into my system. I wake refreshed. There is no reason on planet Earth that I should wake refreshed with the amount of stress that I have. It has been an absolute heaven sent for me. And you can get information on hydroheal.com. You can go ahead and check this out. Certainly worth the time, and check this link out. It will go, once again, if I went ahead and said, Dr. Joe D, this is my coffee. All right. We go ahead and this is my machine. I mean it. I don't endorse just anything. So go there, and we're going to go into this next piece, Greg, where I want to talk about the therapy, the different modalities that we can use. There's the cannula going through the oxygenation, Bob loved to have the headphones on, I believe, because he knew that it was his brain barrier. But one of the leading causes of degenerative disease in anybody over 55, which includes you now as well, which I find that hard to believe, but you now, is blindness. And so macular degeneration, we're not saying that, and I want to say it one more time, that any of this can cure, can do anything. These are treatments, but the body is 100% can and will heal itself. Regeneration always works. So, Greg, let's talk about these three modalities that molecular hydrogen that anyone can pick up a machine and actually do these modalities and how it will benefit them.
Sure. If I could start off by saying the machine that we settled on is not the machine that we started with. We looked at a bunch of different machines, and we have a device that tests output of the machines, and all of the machines that we got from China did not do as advertised. It wasn't until we discovered Japanese engineering, somebody in Japan had created it, a machine that it did it exactly as it was supposed to. Now the scuttlebutt,
they did make Toyota, not after all, so that kind of fits.
The pervasive marketing right now around molecular hydrogen is around these molecular hydrogen water bottles, where it's a bottle a little bit bigger than your phone, right? And you put water in it, you press a button, and it creates molecular hydrogen, and it does. And it will do it if it's a legitimate bottle like the ones Brecca advertises. It'll do it for about 100 hours. 100 hours. Mm-hmm. Now, after 100 hours, the electrolysis engineering inside of it, for lack of a better term, burns out. Now, it'll still bubble. You'll still think you're getting hydrogen, but you're not. Number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, appropriately saturated and dosed molecular hydrogen. Let's just assume that the bottle that you're using does that. That's about 0.8 milligrams of molecular hydrogen. Now, 0.8 milligrams, okay? Not going to knock anybody's socks off. Still very helpful, right? The molecular hydrogen inhalation device at 600 mLs per minute will provide 750 milligrams of molecular hydrogen available to the body for use in 15 minutes. So juxtapose 0.8 milligrams versus 750 milligrams. What is going to be more physiologically appropriate? There is no LD50, meaning you cannot overdose on molecular hydrogen. And because of the amount of damage that we're taking from new unforeseen environmental toxins like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, chemtrails, whatever you want to say, we constantly need to replenish that. So in terms of velocity and power, molecular hydrogen inhalation is orders of magnitude superior to utilization of molecular hydrogen water. So inhalation is the first and preferred route of the introduction of molecular hydrogen. It's absorbed through the alveoli of the lungs, saturates all 38 trillion of your cells, 15 to 30 minutes, depending on where you are in your own end zone, so to speak. Okay. You'd have to drink 900 bottles. 900 dose and saturated.
900. Nobody drinks 900 bottles.
Jody, I'm almost 60. I've never drank 900 bottles of water my entire damn life. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So what I'm saying is the studies around molecular hydrogen water are real, and they show all this benefit. Now, imagine you could have that same benefit 900 times more powerfully, orders of magnitude faster. Okay. So the device.
Better, stronger, better.
Right. No, yeah. It's Steve Austin, the $6 million man. Better, faster, stronger. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's not just an inhalation device, right? It actually creates molecular hydrogen water at appropriate doses, and it will do 1 gallon of water in 5 minutes. So you could do a gallon every day in the morning, and you could drink that throughout the day while you're inhaling the molecular hydrogen water at your computer, which is what I do when I'm doing work at my laptop, which is a predominant, my life has turned into, I'm on a laptop all the time, right? So I'll just stick the cannula up my nose. You don't even notice it, and you're just inhaling it. I also have slept with the cannula. Now, the great thing is if you have some kind of neurological thing happening, like a headache, God forbid a stroke, right? You can put these earphones on, and the molecular hydrogen will seep in through the tympanic membrane, again, because it is the smallest molecule in the universe. And because of its nonpolarity, it does not require a specialized biological carrier molecule to shuttle it into the brain. It just goes right into the brain and starts going to work. Okay. And the last thing is there's some goggles that it comes with.
The Fearless Fly goggles. That, by the way, I'm just going to throw this in. Yes, my husband, the big bear, my big bear had some issues with advanced just macular degeneration.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, here he was in a compromised state. This is my story. You can believe it or not, but we have document from the hospital. They were said, "What are you doing this time?" With the neurosurgeons there. And what happened, he was on the earphones. Then we went to the goggles just twice, Greg, after 2 times. Now, he was an extraordinary man, but my big bear could read the newspaper, as I said before. 2 times.
I mean, Bob was an extraordinary guy, and it's an extraordinary result after 2 sessions. However, and remember, he also had weeks and weeks of molecular hydrogen saturation through drinking and through inhalation and through his brain. So, it probably is cumulative over time.
Yes.
But it does speak to the fact that, you don't notice disease symptoms until you cross a threshold, right? Like it's happening,
Yes.
it's happening. You hit a border. Oh my God, emergency. Right.
Emergency.
But if you're right there and you can use a therapy like molecular hydrogen to go from the border of emergency to health, then, that would make sense.
Yes.
My mother, the internist, she just does everything Marcus Welby says. Anybody else remember that guy, Marcus Welby?
Yes.
And, she is on like 17 different drugs. And an end result of that is an iatrogenic manifestation of dementia. And this lady was the smartest person I knew growing up, and she couldn't remember her PIN number. And we stuck these earphones on her every day for an hour during The Price is Right for 4 months, and she is speaking to us in full sentences. It's anecdotal, but it's that happens.
The body put in the right condition. These are 2 debilitating things. I want to tell you. And so if you're out there and you're thinking, what is this? What is this? Number one, I want to just wrap this up to say this, but we're going to take one more commercial break. And why this is so important, because collaboration, Greg, is the new currency. This is what we're doing here. We're collaborating. I've joined forces. I'm endorsing this product, not only for Bob, but the countless client patients that I've just kind of went ahead and said, you ought to try this. But one collaboration that I just love is my dearest Dr. Maradian, the princess, soon to be in 2 weeks, Queen. We're going to call her Queen Maradian Ogalana, UN ambassador from Nigeria. If you are anywhere by plane, train, automobile, check this out. Ladies, she's doing a First Ladies Forum in Doha, Qatar. Our own Jennifer Kerr from The Essence of a Woman, wife of Jamie Kerr, will be speaking as a keynote at this event. It's worth taking a listen, and I'm going to put up the registration event as our last sponsor for today as we wind up this amazing time. Gee, Dr. G, did we think it was going to happen this quickly? Let's take a look, take a feel, take a listen. So go ahead, check this out. You can go ahead and just type in First Ladies Forum. It will be there so that you can register and find out how you can be all you can be with the ladies in the car. But I think we've really learned, Greg, how you can be all you can be with Dr. G and this amazing molecular hydrogen modality. This is something that you're going to want to listen to over and over and over again, ladies and gentlemen, because it is cutting edge. And I can guarantee you, if there's a next cut to be made on the cutting edge, you, Dr. Greg Carter, are going to find it. So let's wrap this up and give people why. Why should I care about molecular hydrogen? Number one, we're going to rapid fire through these. Why should we care about molecular hydrogen?
Well, because you want to give your body the best fuel that you can give it. You give your car the best fuel that you can afford. You should give your body the best fuel that it can afford. And we're not talking about food, right? Because that's what the engines that are making your fuel are using. We're talking about the gasoline, the fuel for the engines that make your energy. And that gasoline, that fuel is molecular hydrogen. So each cell has somewhere on the order of 100 to 1,000 mitochondria under perfect conditions. Okay? Now just imagine that. You can give all 38 trillion cells and all of the hundreds to thousands of mitochondria in those cells, the brain, the heart, etc., the highest quality octane fuel that you can give them. And you can, within moments, notice physiologic change in your overall sense of well-being, health, etc. So again, as I stated in the beginning of the podcast, if I could only pick one thing, it would be molecular hydrogen, because the molecular hydrogen affects so many things, and it affects so many things because everything in the body is driven by mitochondria, and every cell in the body needs mitochondria to drive it. That's why.
That's why. And when should I do it? Because, when should I do this? Well, I'd say at least don't wait until you have a case of dementia or a stroke like Bob. What is the benefit for me doing it right now? If I feel just great, I feel great, why should I do it now?
Well, first of all, just because we feel great doesn't mean we are great, right? Like I said, let's just say that I was a monk, right? I'm still 60, right? Like my body's still breaking down as an artifact of traversing the arc of time. So your body is in a constant state of disrepair and repair, disrepair and repair, disrepair and repair. So knowing that, you don't exist in this stasis, right? You're not in suspended animation. You're going through life, you're stubbing your toe, you're breathing in pollution, you're drinking fluoride, okay? All of this is attacking you, whether you feel good or not, okay? So ingestion of molecular hydrogen through inhalation is going to slow, stop, and reverse the tsunami of damage that your body is being exposed to. And I'm going to say a speculatory statement. Had we given Dr. Bear molecular hydrogen, perhaps a year prior to his event, he would probably still be with us.
Yeah, I know that. And that, that is something that is difficult, but we don't have control over the Almighty.
Right.
And so as it goes, I know it would have been, and I know that timing is everything. So what I'm saying, learn, ladies and gentlemen, from my situation and me getting through this pain to the next side. Do it now. If not now, when? If not you, who? But Greg, we're going to flip this switch because I was remiss. Can you stay for 5 more minutes, please?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's go. Because this is Dr. G. And let's look at Dr. G on this one. Yes, this was Dr. G. Oh, me.
Look at his hair.
At the beginning of his health journey today. If you could see him standing, this is Dr. Carter. What a testament. And I can say this is one of the biggest reasons I believe in this modality. Why? After me doing this with absolutely, let's go back and just wind this one more time. And, it's okay, Greg. We always have to have the before picture, but it's a great one. At the beginning of your journey, you always did struggle with weight loss. Yeah. I know You did. You found molecular hydrogen. Not only is he because there's no inflammation there. That's what happened. And guess what? If you can do it, I can say, you just look at me, Dr. G. You can be like, I messed that one up, but I'll try it again. If you want to go ahead and do weight loss, be with Dr. Joe D, so you can look like Dr. G. That to me is absolutely amazing. And so if you were going to give a last piece of wisdom to anyone, because you have so much, and we're gonna follow up, because that's just what we do. But before we do that, because I want to just do something that we do have a date where we're going to recreate Increte Healthopedia 2025. We're going to go to Greece. Yes, we are. At the Knossos in Crete. We'll be there in this beautiful, luxurious affinity pool. What are we going to do for 6 days? We'll learn at a retreat to renew and recreate, just like we kind of did in Boca, but how about 6 days of the process with Dr. Jim Marinakis and I, 30 really lucky people. Will be going September 29th to October 5th, 2025. More information will be forthcoming next week as we progress in this September 29, so that we can stay alive, because renewal is important and relaxation is important. What does this is what I want you to do. It just came to me. What is the play? We all need to know that we need to retreat, relax, but we all know that we have stress. What is the thing that molecular hydrogen does to combat stress?
It reduces reactive oxygen species and oxidative stress in the body, and you cannot escape it. You can't escape it. You can move to Vilcabamba, Ecuador, and live on a mineral-dense vein of frothy goodness. And you cannot escape oxidative stress, okay? And oxidative stress creates inflammation, and inflammation is the silent killer. And it's at the core of everything. And what is going to regulate oxidative stress is the mitochondria's ability to use to marshal its forces to disassociate these harmful free radicals, okay? And the utilization of molecular hydrogen is probably, in the long run, the least expensive, most cost-effective, powerful, and safe modality that a person can use at home without the need for any special training. You don't need any special wiring in your home. You don't have to put a space in your living room to put a cloth coffin and have your wife zip you in for 2 hours under atmospheric pressure. And the benefit, I mean, the bang for the buck of molecular hydrogen it's nothing short of amazing. And for people who have been exposed to it, they can attest to the fact that in cases of acute trauma or acute symptom manifestation, molecular hydrogen can turn most symptoms around within 20 minutes.
Yes, in 20 minutes. So think about it, 8 or 750. I can say from me being patient number 1 to now, you are truly like, how did Healthopedia, the company, come around? Healthopedia and Healthopedia Publishing, because I looked at my big bear and I said, do you think that I can publish? I got into this, an anthology on health. He goes, where you're a walking encyclopedia of health. He gave me the name. And what I say, you are that walking encyclopedia of health, that testament of what you did. You are that. Health isn't something you do. It's what you become on life's journey. You are that becoming. Dr. Greg Carter, all I want to say is I honor you, I respect you, I appreciate you. But Dr. Greg, guess what? I love you. Thank you for being on our show.
Thank you very much.
Milkshake moment. It was a whole Baskin Robbins 32 flavors. So remember, next week, we will be going to Qatar with Dr. Jim Marinakis and I as we prepare as our invitation to Doha from Dr. Mirvat Ibrahim Mohammed. and the royal family in June. You'll hear Dr. Jim and I talk about preventative medicine, all that we can be. But today, I just want to say one more thank you. I was so glad that Dr. Carter had hubris. I'm so fortunate. He said, I can fix her up in 15 minutes. And yes, I should have paid him by the hour because by the case was not enough. But when you meet heroes like that in your life, don't ever forget them. Always remember them, because they will bring something else into your life that you will say, no matter what. Life isn't always fair, but it's so worth it. You are so worth it. Look at molecular hydrogen. You got your homework and your heart work for tonight. But in every day, no matter what, go ahead and be a part of the solution. That's what we do here on the Healthopedia 365 channel. Go ahead and be the best that you can be, because you've seen Dr. Joe D this time, but also Dr. G. So in each and every day, make it a great Healthopedia kind of day. Ciao for now.
Woman up, 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 up.